that I created, and it's called Indian Treasure. And the reason why it's called Indian Treasure is because I made the first ones with beautiful it's sort of Indian inspired fabrics. There's sari silks in here, there's embroidered fabrics as well. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then of course the lining is that bright orange in there as well. This doesn't have to be loose, this could be stitched down and just left as a flap going over like that. We're going to do these little tabs differently tonight, just different from the pattern. So this was the other one I made, and you can see again it's Indian textile inspired, and it's just absolutely stunning, and it's all raw edge applique. I mean, literally, you know, that's how it is. It's just applied as a little triangle, and then the fabrics inside really whiz pop, don't they? Now, the secret to this little clutch purse is the fact that it opens up enormously. Oh look, I've got all my hexagon fabrics in there. I've been doing some EPP. I took this to the hairdressers actually. Let me take the fabrics out. I took this to the hairdressers the other day so I could sit and do EPP. And yes, like I say, the secret is that it's enormous. It really is a massive pouch, and although the flap comes over quite tightly, you could put things in here and just use another. You could have poppers going all the way up your bag, so you can have it at different widths if you like. But even so, you could just have it loose, so even if you fill it, you could just flap that over or even flap it back, depending on how you feel about things. But yeah, it's a surprise, it really is. And it does have a gusseted bottom really, because of the way it's been designed. It's something that I drew from scratch, and I was amazed that it worked first time. And I put this together just as it was this one that I put together as a trial to see if it would work, and it did 100% work. And I was absolutely amazed because I just literally drew a sketch on my I have great big pieces of card, and I sketch everything out. And no, Abigail, you did not win. So yes, I was really pleased with how that turned out, and then of course I have to draw it properly for you guys. But that is Indian Treasure. So like I say, I had this filled with my EPP that I took to the hairdressers, but you could have it, if you could make it out of a wedding fabric, you know, if you've got an outfit that needs taking up. You could, even if you used a piece or a piece here, you could match it to your outfit. That could sort of, if you look to the side, you could have it tucked under your arm. Or tonight I'm going to put the tabs on the back here, so you could have it as a crossbody, and then we can put a popper. I'm not going to put a popper on tonight just to save a bit of time, but you could pop a popper there just to hold it. But you know that if you don't, you can have it loose and open it up to have this enormous space to put all sorts of goody things. Well, like I say, everything that I was doing with my EPP the other day went in there. Marie's saying there's always the cat quilt next week, Abigail. Yeah. Just keep donating, Abigail, keep donating. Yeah, so it's a really great make. I'm really pleased with it. Now, in the pattern, there are some pieces that you need to stick together, okay? This is the shape, and this little piece actually was cut off probably, I don't know, on the pattern somewhere. Oops, sorry, somewhere like that, okay? I can't remember exactly where, but so that tells you that your two B's go together and your A's go together like this, and that's the shape that you're aiming for. And you're going to add that's going to be put on the fold of the fabric. So if we look at the actual pattern itself, you can see that B goes to B. It's a pity I didn't use the same font. A goes to A. I don't know how that happened actually, because I did it all at the same time. And you can see that this is place on fold of fabric. And I've had one or two questions in the past about what does that mean. Well, if you're a dressmaker, you know what that means. And I made assumptions that everybody would know. And of course, not everybody should know. But when you've got this kind of arrangement with the arrows and this sort of boxy looking shape, that always means that the fold of the fabric is here. So once you've stuck all those pieces together, you have a shape that looks like a bit like a a rocket ship. And as long as you put the fabric on the fold here, you end up with the correct shape. And it's really easy. You just need 2 pieces. This is the most simplest pattern ever. If you've ever seen my one-piece purse, it's kind of similar to that in as much that it's so simple. So this is the fabric I'm using. Isn't it absolutely gorgeous? It's got a sort of a foiling to it. And so this is your, if I fold it like this, there's your rocket shape there. And of course you've got double that because you've got it so it looks, it's very difficult. So I wanted to have it zoomed in a little bit, but you can see what I'm talking about. The little tabs, these are a little bit smaller than I say in the pattern, only because I was running short of the fabric, so I only cut 2 short tabs, but they are exactly the same. So all I'm going to do with these is to fold these in the long edges to the middle as it says in the pattern, and then fold again. But at the ends, I'm just going to fold those under so they're nice and neat. And to be honest, I think what I'm going to do is only fold one end, and then this end with the raw edge, I'm just going to tuck under. It all will become clear in just a little while. So let's do that. When I go onto the side camera, can you tell me if you're hearing me? Because my setup doesn't look quite right. Yeah, so hold on, let me just go back. So sorry, I cut myself short there. What I said was, can you tell me if you can hear me on the side camera? Okay, because my setup on my screen doesn't look right. So let me know in the comments and then I'll try and fix it. Right, so I'm going to switch my iron on and I'm just going to iron those little tabs. I'll keep you on the side camera for a bit. Where's the other one? Disappeared already. Where is it? Has it gone on the floor? Oh goodness. Bear with. Yes, loud and clear. Oh good. Oh good. Oh, I've lost my little tab now. Can't believe that. Where's it gone? Just bear with, everybody. Perhaps it's in my bag. No. Oh, here it is. Look. Goodness sake. Right, so I'm going to turn these under. So I'm only going to turn it under one end because I'm going to put the raw edge underneath. Thank you for telling me, because I wasn't sure. So just from this peculiar side angle here, I'm just going to fold over one short end, about 1/4 inch. You know, don't measure it, just fold it under, and then another on the other one. There we go. And then my hardware is 1/2 inch, so let me find it. Let me put it there so you can see it. 2 tiny little D-rings, and they're just 1/2 inch. So in the pattern it tells you what to cut. So first of all you're going to iron it in half just to get a crease line. Okay, and then you're just going to fold those raw edges to the middle. It's kind of, you know, we've done this a gazillion times. And I'm sure you have as well. And then we're going to bring the other side across too. Just give that a nice press. And if you've got, which I haven't, if you've got your clapper handy, it's good to put the clapper on there because that would actually really get those creases beautiful. Yes, Jackie, those cats, they really are. Now Jackie came all the way down from Edinburgh way to help us out. I mean, she did decide with her lovely partner Chris, who I met for the first time, which was wonderful. She decided to come down and make it kind of like a week's holiday, and so they spent a week swanning around Suffolk, doing all sorts of things. Actually, they went into Cambridgeshire as well. They went into Cambridge and did some punting. It's a long time since I did that. And we had such a great day. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Gosh. So although, as I say, I've ironed it, you know, if I had my clapper, that would have really helped it lay flat. So apologies if you can hear Millie, because you know this is the time of night that she all starts barking. Yeah, we could set an alarm on it. Anyway, so let's get you So you can see what I'm doing. Let's move all these bits and bobs away. There we go. And we're just going to run a stitch along both long sides and across the short end just to secure our folds. And it's quite nice actually just stitching, because like I said to my members, I'm having a wee bit of time off, in as much that I'm not designing at the moment. I'm just having a little bit of a bit of headspace, I suppose you say. So it's really quite nice just doing some stitching, which I don't do stitching unless I'm designing, so they kind of go hand in hand with me. But they very kindly allowed me to have just a couple of weeks or so. There we are, you can see what that looks like. Isn't that fabric gorgeous? Yeah, so, but to actually just do a little bit of stitching is wonderful, and I've got a couple of projects I need to finish. I've got to finish my Luna that I started in my members group the other night. I've got to finish that, and also in my Platinum members group I've got to finish my Pebble, because these are all works in progress that I'm doing with the lovely ladies and Peter. So as I say, it's just nice to do some stitching, and it is my therapy. Is it your therapy? Do you find, I asked that question the other day, didn't I, on my page here, is if you don't sew, what do you do? You know, it could be, you know, and I've had all sorts of answers: knitting and crochet and reading and gardening and cooking. Oh, Jackie says we had a lovely time and Chris loved meeting you. Well, he's just such a lovely man, and you're both very lucky to have each other. You really are. It's really super. So let's go on the overhead. Don't know why I lost my side camera. It's there. I think it's hidden. I have a screen and I have layers of where the cameras are. So I'll have the front camera at the front, and then the side camera behind, and then the overhead camera behind that, and they all sort of move as I want them to. And for some reason the side camera doesn't want me allow me to see the front. It doesn't matter, as long as you can hear me, that's the main thing. Now, our lovely Kath bought me these when we were at Duxford. I just had to have a little think where we were. And they are the new Taylor Seville quilting pins. They're the flat-headed ones, look at that. And they're longer, and they're super. And you remember, these are the pins that I normally use. So let me hold it so it's like that. Can you see? So they're quite short in comparison. So if I put these side by side, it's quite a bit of difference, isn't there? And these are absolutely my total best friends. But these are my new best friends, okay, because they are awesome. So I'll put that back. I might need a heavier pin. Right, so we've got our tabs done now. That's our folded end, and that's our raw edge. I'm going to put my D-ring on, and I'm going to just make sure I get this the right way around. Oh, come on, that's it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck my raw edge underneath my folded edge, my neatened edge. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so, and I'm going to stitch a little box there to hold all those layers together. To be honest, I think that could be cut down, but we'll leave it as it is. Now, the other thing to consider is this is where the flap is. So this, in effect, is the back of the bag. So we want them, and we ought to measure this really to get this right. Let me use my big ruler. I've got the most beautiful tape measure from Trisha. I'm going to see if I got it handy. Oh, here it is. I knew I had it handy. Right. This, our Trisha Boyd, her friend Maggie makes these, and isn't that beautiful? And then once you've measured, it stays there, and once you've measured, you just wind it up. If anybody wants one of these, Maggie is making them to order. Just message Trisha Boyd. I think she was on here earlier, so you can pick her name up from here and just private message her. And they're £18, and they've got, look, they've got some Celtic knots on the back. Celtic design there, that's beautiful. And it's also got engraving on the little handle one. Oh, Elaine says she ordered one from Trisha. It's lovely. It certainly is. Anyway, look at that. That's a real treat. Real treat. And then I just wind it in. That. I love it. Anyway, so we're going to work out where we're going to put our tabs. So if I work out where one should go. Now, you've got to imagine that your strap will come out of here. I think that's probably about the right place. I've just sort of plonked it. So I'm going to pop a pin in. I'm not going to pin the front, I'm just going to pin the back and hopefully catch this. There we go, caught it. So now what I'm going to do is work out the other side. Hope you can see that okay. Oh, Lynn says she's ordered one. Can't wait for it to come. They are a bit of a treat. Why not? We jolly work hard, don't we, to have all these things. Now the reason why I've stepped that back, you can see, is because it reduces the layers of fabric, because we've already folded this under, this one, by 1/4 inch, so there's already, I don't know, 4 layers of fabric there. So I've stepped that one back so it kind of sits neatly against where we folded, if that makes sense. So let me measure this. So it is 1 5/8. Oof, 1 5/8. Right, so that's that. So let me pop a pin in there so we don't lose that place. Okay, and I'm just going to, in fact, no, I'm going to use my plastic ruler, my acrylic ruler, to go across like that, so I can line this up here. Gosh, that fabric's busy. So I'm just lining it up so it's on there. Can you see that it's resting on there? So that's where I want this one. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And that's in the middle there. So if I pop a pin in there, take that out of the way. Let's put it there so it doesn't clatter off my desk. Okay, gosh, gorgeous. So you can see what that looks like. I think we're thereabouts level. Sorry, it's the fabric is just too delicious, but it's making my head spin. So I'm just going to measure that again. Let's get this ruler in just for quickness, just to make sure. Because I don't think that's quite right. 1 1/2. Yeah, it wants to come in a little bit more. A little bit more. There. There we go. I'm sure that's fine now. We're going to say that's fine. And then I'm just going to stitch a box. Perhaps I should have done the tabs with the stripes going across. Anyway, no matter. Okay, so let's go back to the side camera again. There we go. And we'll just do this box. Let me get the mouse out of the way. It's always in the way, that mouse. And I'm just going to do about a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to put my needle in so that secures all my layers, and go right across. I'm not going to worry about a cross. I mean, this is just a little pouch, so it's not going to carry, you know, a house brick. Well, it might, but I doubt. So it doesn't need to have lots of reinforcement. And this is, like I say, this is a sort of bag you could go to a wedding with. I really believe that. So although I called it Indian Treasure, you could make it out of silk. Oh, that would look amazing. So I'm just going to guess where my box was there to where I'm doing it here, but you can measure. I'd like it if you measured, but we're doing it for a little bit of speed. yeah, so it's nice having that little bit of headspace. Sometimes things get a little bit too much, I suppose. So it does us all good, doesn't it, just to have a little bit of time to ourselves. And it's nice just to do this little bit of stitching with you guys. Okay, so look, there's my boxes done. Can you see that okay? Hopefully you can. If I bring it up a bit more, you can see. That fabric is just ridiculous. Pat says, I love that fabric. Me too, Pat. When I go in the motorhome on my hollybobs, I will be using this one to take my EPP in, because I do love my EPP, and it'll just lift my spirits. Now, in the pattern, it tells you to put the tabs here, and of course you can do that. It ends up with the tab sort of there here, which is fine. Oh, there's Millie again. Which is fine. You can have them on the side like that, but I thought I'd do something different tonight. So now what we need to do is just put the two layers together, but we need to make sure we leave a turning gap. Now batik doesn't really, well, I say it doesn't have a right or wrong side, but some do. So do be aware of that. Just check. It wouldn't be a huge difference, but just do check if you're using batik. And don't ever use a, oh, now I'll tell you what I was going to do. I was going to round this end just as a difference as well. So let me get my pen. I was going to round this instead of a point. I was going to have a round finish. Don't like that one. Let's go for that one. Yeah. I can see it better on screen than I can see on my desk. Oh, yeah, I'm going to just curve that around. Bless her. She gets herself in such a state for absolutely no reason. Because obviously she's been fed, obviously she's got water, obviously she's been for a walk. All of those things. She's had treats, she's had a chew, she's had a Kong, she's had everything. There we go. So I've rounded my point off, which I thought would be quite nice to have a difference. So we're doing right sides together. And always have your pin heads facing out, just easier. Do be careful with the hardware, so even though they're only little bits of hardware, do be careful of that. And what we'll do is we will mark where our turning gap is, so leave about 3 inches. Yeah, I've just marked it. You can do a double pin, often we'll do a double pin, but as we can see that quite well, that's enough really. Now if you don't want to pin, because obviously it's a faff, and you know me, I wouldn't normally pin, but I'm being a good girl, use your walking foot. And I nearly put my walking foot on, and then I thought, nah, I will pin. Oh, Kath says she made Dina out of this fabric. Ah, yeah, of course. I've seen it somewhere before. Right, so we'll just be really good. So now, because I've marked it on my batik, I mustn't stitch it from the other side. Now on the outer fabric, the beautiful, beautiful fabric, I've put my H640. Okay, you can use any stabilizer you like. H640 is nice because it's softer. Also, it glues on, which just makes our life so much easier. Now, if you haven't cut very well like me, just be careful, because you don't want to end up not stitching that bit. So I'm just going to trim that. Just don't forget, you know, we cut things by hand, don't we? We're not machines. So we cut by hand, and there's always room for error. But what we can do is this. We can just trim it. And see how these pins just go in beautifully. Can you hear John? if you there's two ways of getting Millie to be what's the word, calm. Yes, calm is to, because she gets herself into a tiz. She's a monkey. Well, she's not a monkey, she's a dog. There's two ways that we can do this. We can talk to her and tell her a really boring story. Okay, and John will often talk, because John used to be a footballer, and he was very prolific in his day. He used to be in the News of the World and things like that. Very good, excellent. And so he will talk to Millie about his footballing career, which, when the grandchildren were little, he used to send them to sleep. So we figure that it would help Millie calm down. So sometimes we do that. Sometimes he will talk to her and say, you know, just calm, just calm. And I think eventually she gets so bored with him saying that she calms. Other times, I'm afraid, she has to go in the naughty corner, which is the kitchen. She's perfectly fine. Don't ever think that she's upset or sad in any way. She's not. She's just a monkey. So I'm stitching all the way around, not forgetting that turning gap. I started at the turning gap. So obviously I will finish there. And there's a technique for turning this through. I was a bit tight on that corner there, but that's okay. So I'm using a 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch is just right. I want to keep an eye on that, because I think that wasn't quite straight. It's funny, isn't it? You cut these things out and you think, oh, I've made a really cracking job of that. And when you come to put it together, it doesn't fit. It's like, what? What happened there? I swear it's something to do with old age, because I'm really getting past it in so many ways. Perhaps we'll meet Millie at Lala. Phew, no way, Pat. There's no way I'm taking that dog. She's so misbehaved. Oh my gosh. Well, she would just follow me around because she loves me best of all. I can't help it. It's just how it is. She's not my dog. She's John's dog. It was his retirement present to himself to get a lovely dog, and he researched her. And it's so funny because I belong to a Tibetan Terrier Facebook group, and they all say the same about their dogs, about their Tibetan Terriers, that they bark for no reason. They just sit and look at you and bark for no reason. They are very uncouth with how they sit, and they're just monkeys. We can't take her anywhere. And I'm sure some Tibetan Terriers are really well behaved. I think we got the one that was, oh, all right. I don't think we'll keep this one. We'll give this one to John Rudd. Oh dear. I mean, she does make us laugh, and we have such fun with her, and she's always coming with us in the motorhome, and you know, she's very well looked after, so don't ever think she's not. So I'm back to where we started. She's talking. Well, you know, people say that, but then what are you supposed to say back? We've tried everything. Yeah, bribery and corruption seems to be the only thing that will work with Millie. Which, you know what, we'd all be the same, wouldn't we? So I've just cut that, and I didn't mean to, look. So now I'm just going to trim this away. I'm just going to snip into this and probably trim that back a wee bit, because it's got the interfacing in. So I'll just take that back a bit, not much, doesn't have to be much. And obviously if you're using poppers, then they can go on the last of all. So you can decide if poppers are the thing you want to put on it. If you want to use magnetic closures, you really, really need to work out where you want those magnetic closures to go before you stitch it up. And don't forget to stabilise the lining of the flap before you put the magnetic closure on. And there's loads of videos online that will show you how to do that. If you look at my one-piece purse that's got a magnetic clasp, that tells you. Okay, so I've snipped all around, and what I want to do before I do anything is just to give this what I call a bit of ironing memory. And I'm just going to flip this back. Now we're not going to hand stitch this closed. Look at that, I cut right into that by mistake. Perhaps because I was listening to Millie. Do you think he might have put her in the kitchen? Might have done, because she can be so naughty. Right, so when you're folding this back and ironing, please be careful, because obviously it's a polyester wadding and it'll burn, so just make sure it's just the tip of your iron, because all we're going to do is we're putting a memory of a crease there just to make it easier. Right, so what we need to do is just turn the whole thing through. Obviously that makes a lot of sense, but then we leave what you know, the arms, the angel arms, angel wings, the side bits. We're going to leave them for the moment, so I don't want you to worry about them at the moment. So you're just turning the whole thing through. This is so pretty. Perhaps I'll take it to King's Lynn next week, because you know Kath and I are at the West Norfolk Textile Fair next week. I'm doing 2 workshops, one on Saturday, one on the Sunday. Melba's coming, and we're going to make baubles. They are just gorgeous, and I got the most amazing vintage Liberty fabrics for the ladies to make their baubles with, which is just wonderful. Okay, so let's just, so all we've done is turn through the main body. Okay, we haven't turned through the wings yet. Okay, I'm leaving that till in a minute. So I just want to push this through. It's gone quiet now. I worry whenever it goes too quiet. But I think if John's got any sense, he'll have put her in the kitchen, or he will have bribed her. I'm open to bribery. Not me, I'm the dog. Okay, so look, that's the main body of the bag. So what we need to do now is to get the wings out. This is really handy against some hemostats. So there's a gap, there's a little pocket here, look, and it's the same both sides. That's where our wings are hiding, in there. Okay, it's a little, if I put my fingers in, you'll see. Right, that's where the wings are. So if I put my hemostats in, I can grab hold and I can just pull them through. You just see that. So I wouldn't bother doing it any other way. This is the only way that I've found to be really successful. So you just turn out the main body first. Do as much as you can. Leave it like this because you can poke this out in a minute. Okay, you can do a bit more if you want. Come on, do a bit more. But it's quite good. Just be gentle though, you don't want to rip your fabric. Okay. Okay, so we've done one side. I know it's rough, but I'm going to poke that out in a minute. Kath says, how well the out and lining go together in this bag. Well, yeah, it's like I chose it specially. Mind you, some of my choices can be a bit dodgy sometimes. Not like Nicola. Nicola is the queen of choosing good fabrics. She is the queen. Definitely. She did my 5 projects for my USB. Oh, and do you know what? I swear to goodness that's what worked, you know, in the sales. You know, we didn't have to sell it. Do you know what I mean? When we went to Duxford, we didn't have to sell it because the samples that Nicola made for us were so beautiful with the fabric that she chose. I would imagine that everybody that came past our stand thought, oh my gosh, I want to make those. Well, and some ladies actually went and got the same fabric, or very close to. I think I'm pretty sure one lady said she'd got some of that fabric. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was a Moda. Yeah, so yeah, funnily enough, I kind of just go with my gut. And I never spend a long time. I know people do spend a long time choosing fabrics. I absolutely do not. I do not. If I go perhaps to the cozy cabin and I look in and I see a certain fabric that I really love, then I take that. I take that straight away, and then I'll try to match that. Oh, Nicola says she's good at buying but not using. Hold on a minute. Hold on about that, Nicola. You have just made something beautiful. Obviously, I can't remember. Well, Jenna. You made Jenna out of some gorgeous blue fabrics. Gorgeous. Now, do you see where we folded this? So I'm going to press it, but look, it's already in the right position. I mean, it looks amazing. You wouldn't even know that there was a gap there now. So it's worth spending a moment just doing that. Excuse me while I lick my fingers. In actual fact, Sue Crowder bought me a post office wet dauber stamper thingy, right? So you can have it damp and instead of licking your fingers, which is a bit uncouth, but hey, we all do it, don't we? I should be using that. Of course I should. Yes, of course I should, Sue. And I know exactly where it is. It's in my post room. Well, of course it would be. Of course it would be. Okay. So you can see what an easy make this is. And I think, you know what? I'm serious when I say that if you made some of these for your craft stand, because if you think this is just 2 fat quarters, let's say, yeah? So how much is that? I don't know. Is it a £5? If you can get them in the sale, even less. Go to somewhere like Hobbycraft, you get them really. Yes, you did, Sue. Did you not? Who sent me that then? Anyway, moving on. So there's our flap. I quite like it rounded now. So all we have to do now is join these up. Now, this is the point where you can think, well, actually, I like the batik on the outside. Oh, it's Dawn! Dawn! I'm so sorry! Dawn! It was Dawn that sent me my post office wetter stamper thingy. I've always wanted one of them. Thank you, Dawn. I'm so sorry. Dawn will forgive me for being old and silly and losing my marbles. Right, so yes, you can decide if your lining is gorgeous, you can decide maybe, okay, so maybe that's going to be our outside. So we could do it so it's like that, but come on, we need this to be the outside, don't we? So now it's just a case of bringing your side seams up, okay? And because we've got lots of layers, let me bring in Natsuko. Did anybody make Natsuko? There's a and I use it all the time. It is never off my desk. First of all, just make sure that your points match, yeah? So this one, it's not a pointy, but it's not a bad replica? No. Representation of a point. And just make sure that looks fairly decent here. We're going to bring all these together. But I would just take your, do the tops first. So just bring them together like that. And then put a clip in it. Yeah, so did anybody make Natsuko? Sorry, Dawn. She's laughing now. She knows what a twit I am. And don't worry about this turning gap because you can catch it when you're stitching. Okay, so just bring that up. Obviously you want to make sure that you're catching all the layers, so you need to be careful. And oh, Pat said she made Natsuko. I use it regularly. Yeah, but well, me too, Pat. It's on my desk, as you can see, all the time. I love it. It's a bit tricky on the fingers to make, because you've got to do this blanket stitch all the way around, which is quite tough because we used Decaville, didn't we, to do this? But it's just the most amazing little hexagon roll, I suppose. It's lovely. And of course I've got the most amazing bean paste fabric from China, which is just beautiful. Anyway, going back to our lovely pouch. So this is it now. So all we've got to do is stitch up our sides, these, and then decide about this. Obviously, this needs to go on and have a proper steam. Okay. Oh, Anita made it too. How lovely. And then, or you could even top stitch that, because that looks like that lining's going to shift. But I think once I've steamed it, it'll be fine. And then on the back, we've got the 2 D-rings, look, in the most perfect place. So all we've got to do is stitch up those 4 sides. Jeanette says, I loved making mine. I always have it with it me full of clips. Oh, me too, Jeanette. Pat says our grandchildren are fascinated by it. Well, because of the shape of it, Pat. I suppose that's what it is. Yeah. It was one of those moments. I had a designer moment, you know, designer. What is it? Oh, no, not euphoria. Anyway, I had a moment. Right, so we've got our bag now, and this is just so gorgeous. So now I'm going to just stitch down. I mean, it's no more difficult than that. But you could make this with patchwork. Now, when you stitch it together, guys, do a really nice strong back stitch. Make sure all of your layers are sitting beautifully on top of each other. And I want you to lengthen your stitch to 3, because you're going through 4 layers of fabric plus the H640. So I want you to have a think about that, think about all the layers. Now what I do is, where the gap is, so this is the other side, where the gap is here, I'm putting in my stiletto and I'm just pulling that tight, can you see? And that keeps all of my layers together. So your seam is about 1/8 of an inch, and do make sure that you've caught it both sides. It's not bad, could be better, but I'm okay with that. And I think a bit of top stitching around this wouldn't go amiss, actually. You could hand stitch this. You could put it. You could do a lovely blanket stitch all the way around, just to hold those layers together. That would look amazing. Again, use your stiletto, guys. And again, if you want a stiletto, our lovely Trisha, her friend Maggie makes them as well. Where is it? Where's mine? I always have it here because I treasure it, but I use my metal one. Apologies for going in front. Epiphany, thank you, Kath. That's the stiletto and the quick unpick the other end. Let's undo that. So you can order that from Trisha as well. Okay? I can't remember how much that was now. Epiphany. Thank you, Kath. Oh, happy birthday to Kath. Happy birthday to Kath. I think she's had a lovely day, from what I gather. Yeah. Ending with fish and chips, which, you know, come on, you got to on your birthday, haven't you? Even though we know it's kind of naughty food, really. If you're kind of that way, you know. Trouble is we get to the stage where we have to keep looking after ourselves, don't we? Ooh. Right, so that's both those ends stitched. This fabric is really lovely to stitch because it's hiding all my stitches because of the pattern on it. So right from the top again, a lovely back stitch. Oops, decided not to play. So we'll start a 1/4 inch away and go back. Still not having it. There we go. And then stitch all the way down. Go on. Come on, that's it. Our machines do have their moments, don't they? Again, just pull it, or just pin it well, clip it well, whatever you prefer. You don't have to do anything I'm doing. Just you do it yourself. Make it yours. Make it yours. So this is the side that has our turning gap. So I'm just going to make sure that all my layers are sitting beautifully together. Again, a back stitch, because that, if anything, it'll still take the strain. So just make sure with your seam, can you see that's my turning gap there? Just make sure that all of those layers are sitting on top of each other, that you're doing the best you can possibly do. Tack it, glue it, pin it, clip it, all of the above. You know, tacking, basting. I'm of that old school. We used to call it tacking, it's now called basting. So all these little ends here now can now be chopped away. Now the secret to this is to really press it. So what I'm talking about here, let me just go to the overhead, is I want you to use a damp cloth basically. So a damp cloth, and oh gosh, little snippy bits here. Let me just get rid of them. Got a bit of a bird's nest there, but we'll ignore it. Yeah, because obviously that's going to come over. That's absolutely fine. It needs a press or a top stitch. That'll help just to get that flat. So that's going to come over like that. But what you need to do is to get this crease in here. So get those over, marry those up and steam it. Get a wet cloth and steam it. And you see this corner here? That bit there? That needs to go in. So you know, like the carrier bags that you get where the end is folded, that's what you want to do. So you fold it in, you fold the sides in, and you press it with a damp cloth so it's really flat and precise. It really will make a difference to how it looks. If you don't do that, it's going to be it'll end up looking a little bit too puffy. But a good thing I think would be nice is to top stitch that. I'm really loving the idea of that. Or hand stitch. Because I did the applique on the other ones, you see that's what's holding it flat. But that now is your fabulous little clutch bag that you can put a ready-made strap on. Amazon sell them. You want a 1/2 inch width one, so a thin one. Or you don't have to have a strap, you could just have it as a clutch. But then you can decide if you want to have a popper on here or whether you just want to have a flap over. Now, when you've pressed this like this with your damp cloth, that will stay put, okay? That will stay put. So when you come to wear it, it'll sit nicely. But if you're worried about it sort of pinging up like that, then put a popper in. Put a lovely popper in. You could cover the popper with a nice big silver button in this case. But when I open it up, look at the size. Look at the size of what you're getting. I mean, it's enormous. And like I say, I used it for my EPP, and it's amazing how much you can get in there. I mean, seriously, if I started putting stuff in here, let me show you. Hold on. Let's just get the new pins sorted. We can put our new pins in there, we can put our scissors in there, another pair of scissors. We can put my quick unpick, not that of course I need it, my stiletto, my other stiletto from Trisha, and my hemostats. I could put my phone in there, easy peasy. I could put my pins up that other end. I could even put my new tape measure in there. I'm going to put my glue in there. I'll put a clip in there. It might be a little bit too fat, so I'll take that out. Be sensible, Lizzy. But you could put a reel of thread in there, for instance, and that will still close up. If you've got a popper on there, that will still close up. Just do it like that, and that will still close. And all those things are in there, look, because you've got that gusset. So, you know, when you first look at it, you think, oh, it's only a clutch. It's so much more than that. And think of the fabric you're going to use. So there we are. I shall put a popper on that, and I shall have it for the motorhome. And I might put a little strap on it. Look at that fabric. And then you've got the D-rings on the back. It's quite heavy now. And you can have it as a crossbody, couldn't you? You can have it under your coat as a crossbody. Just put your phone in there and a little bit of loose change, in case you need to get the bus home from when you've been disco dancing. Or you can be like me, and one or two I expect, I've got a special plastic card for buses. Can't imagine what it is. Right, okay, that's me done. Thank you very much for watching. Well done, and congratulations to Dawn for winning the beautiful quilt, which is sat here, look. Amazing. So join me next week and we'll do the draw for the pussycats. And then I will get another one finished and we'll do a draw possibly the next Monday. You might have a break. See how we get on. So yeah, so look out for that. That'll be next Monday. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you ever so much for joining me. It's been an absolute treat to do a Facebook Live on my page. It's very rare that I do it these days, and it's nice when I do, it really is. And thank you very much for... is Dawn on here? Let's have a look. It's Dawn Prescott. Dawn Prescott. Let's have a look. I don't think she is. There we go. I'm just looking down the list. I don't think it is. Right, okay. Thank you very much for your company. I shall see you all again very soon. Have a lovely rest of your week, and stay warm because it's going to get a bit chilly, and look after yourselves. Speak to you soon. Bye.